Well, hello there, YouTube. Good to see you again. Adam here, coming to you from the truck today. Just leaving work, headed to the grocery store on the way home. And I thought this would be a handy opportunity to say hello, to chat to you after my trip. Just kind of talk through the trip for anyone who's interested. By the way, right here, this building is called Nichols Arcade, and that is where my local tobacconist is, Maison Edwards, just a block from my office. Fantastic location. Anyway, I thought I would tell you about my trip and give you sort of channel updates and all that sort of thing. And hopefully we'll do it in like 10 minutes. So my trip was fantastic. Really had a great time. I arrived in Dublin first. I flew into Dublin and then was there for just overnight before I flew to Stockholm, and took the time to scope out stuff to do downtown Dublin. So you saw on Instagram, if you follow me there, I stopped by the Peterson store to scope out some pipes that I was interested in, or to see if there was anything that I was interested in, and just kind of walked around and that sort of thing. Went up to Stockholm after that and spent 2 days there. Yeah, 2 days. And it was great. Very expensive. But the weather wasn't bad. It was actually warmer than here that week. And the sun was shining. Beautiful, beautiful city. Easy to get around. And, had some good meetings and stuff. Went and saw the Vasa Museum, which is a giant preserved old wooden ship that sadly sunk right after it was launched, but is very, very cool, and it's pretty much all the way preserved. Pretty sweet museum. I had a good time in Stockholm. Really nothing more to say there. It did start to snow right when I was leaving. I was sort of hoping that it would be icy Nordic weather while I was there, but it was actually pretty moderate. From Stockholm, I flew to Barcelona. And wow, it was warm in Barcelona. I tell you what, it didn't quite feel like summer, but I didn't need a jacket, definitely. And I was actually staying a bit north of Barcelona in Sant Cugat, which is about 20 minutes north on the train. Nice, kind of quiet town. So, being not a city person, it was nice to be able to kind of go into Barcelona and, see it, but be able to kind of retreat to a smaller town, which is kind of cool. Great food, great weather. It was really funny. I felt like it was pretty warm, but everybody there was bundled up like they are now here in Michigan. Bundled up like it was winter, but it was, I don't know, 60 degrees, which, I suppose is chilly for Barcelona, but for me, it felt positively balmy. And from Barcelona, I went to Madrid. Madrid, I would say, was the most overwhelming place that I went, for a couple of reasons. It's a big city. It's not giant, but I think it's the 6th largest city in Europe, if I did my research correctly. And my Spanish is okay, but it's not Spanish, it's Latin American Spanish. And so, I just felt like it was hard to navigate. I didn't really do much other than my work stuff and a little bit of walking around. I did go to a tobacconist, a nice cigar shop, but like the customer service was really lacking. This guy followed me around the whole time. I felt like he was checking to be sure that I wasn't going to steal anything, which is fair, I suppose. But I definitely wasn't going to steal anything. And yeah, I don't know. I just kind of put me off. So I had originally planned to buy a fair amount of cigars and stuff in Spain, but that ended up not panning out. From there, I went to London, which was my first time in London. Well, it was my first time in any of these places. But you know what? It was really, really cool. London, to me, even though it's a giant city, a big international metropolis, it felt small. It felt a lot like here. And I think that's because, at least the areas that I was in, not like giant buildings like you'll find in Manhattan or Chicago or things, which is what I was expecting. Big, huge skyscrapers. And there was a little bit of that, obviously. But for the most part, I felt like I was in a fairly small city. Now, it did take a lot of time to get anywhere on the tube and, the associated trains. But honestly, with an Oyster card and your phone, it's pretty easy to get around and figure out train timetables and all that sort of stuff. So it was great. And of course, I mentioned already, and you probably saw the box opening video from my hotel, but I met up with Simon from LCS Briars, and we had a really great conversation. We sat for 2 hours, smoked Cuban cigars, my very first Cuban cigar, at J.J. Fox in London. And boy, I just had a great time with Simon. I told him it sort of felt like, meeting your idols. I've been following his stuff for years, and of course I'm a big fan of his pipes and his channel and everything that he does. And so I felt a little, starstruck to be sitting there smoking a cigar and having a coffee with him. But it was just a great time together, and we exchanged gifts and all that sort of thing, and really, really wonderful. So I'm hopeful that I will have more opportunities to be in London if all this work stuff that I was doing this time pans out. I may be able to get over there once or twice a year, which would be great to keep up that relationship. He did record most of our conversation. I don't know when he's planning on posting that, or if he is, but I imagine it will be kind of a long video, unless he wants to edit it down. But that's ball's in his court for that. And even if he doesn't post it, it was a great time. And then I wrapped up my trip in Dublin. Went back to Peterson. I did buy a pipe. I bought a Irish Harp 80S with a bulldog shape, 9mm filtered, and smoked it in the park on a bench in Dublin. So it's a pipe that was carved in Dublin, purchased in Dublin, smoked for the first time in Dublin, broken in with a little bit of Germain's 1820 flake, courtesy of Simon. And then I came home, and it's been a couple of days since I've been home. Still getting over the last bit of my jet lag. It was really easy. Jet lag wasn't bad on the way out there. But for whatever reason, on the way home, the last few days has been a struggle. It has not been easy for me to stay awake late into the evening. And I've been getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning, which is a little bit early for me, for what I normally would do anyway. So all that is really great. And yeah, so now I'm just getting back into the swing of things here at home, which includes this trip to the grocery store after work. On the Rust Belt Pipes side of things, yesterday, the 15th of February, was the launch of the Founding Fathers program sign-up thing. And that's going to run through the end of the month. So if you are interested in getting a pretty steep discount on a future Rust Belt pipe, that is a great way to do it. You can check out that video. The instructions for how to get a hold of me are in the description of that video. So if it's something that you are interested in, drop me a line and we can chat about it. And again, that runs till the end of the month, and then it goes away forever. So you got about 2 weeks to get on that. In terms of other Rust Belt Pipes stuff, I have, I think, located a really great supplier for Delrin tenons for 9mm, 6mm, and unfiltered pipes. And I bought a sampling of various tenons. So that box, I hope, is going to be checked. I could definitely cut my own tenons and stuff, but in terms of, investing time and stuff into that, which is such a small piece, but it's an important piece. If I can get something pre-made that's affordable, which these ones are, I'm going to go for that. I also have picked up some other bits and bobs, some rod stock for hand-cut stems, some pre-formed stems that I'm going to practice drilling air holes and holes for tenons and all that sort of stuff on. And yeah, we'll see once this Founding Fathers thing goes through. I'm hopeful, based on the response already, which has been very surprising, that I'll be able to pick up not just the lathe, which I have already ordered. I'm just sort of waiting. It was back ordered, but to buy the other stuff, the lathe tools and chuck and pipe jaws and all that sort of stuff for it. But it's all looking good. So that's where things are at the moment. And so we're halfway through February already. I have yet to do a blend of the month. I think, just based on how I'm feeling and the fact that two weeks have already gone by and all that sort of stuff, I'm not gonna do a standard blend review this month. We'll just pick it back up in March, just to make my life a little bit easier. And like I said, I'm getting back into the swing of things after 2 weeks abroad, so my mind is not necessarily in the mode of making blend reviews and that sort of thing. So I hope that you'll understand. All right, I am almost at the store, so I'm going to bid you adieu, and I'll plan to have a normal or semi-normal video this Saturday for you. I will see you then. Cheers, everybody.